we saw the detection. So let's run this cell again. You can see we have the detected rectangle or square around our face in the image. But let's say we want to create a more graceful way of doing this. That is, you can see we have different outputs, different function, different parameters, etc., etc. So let's say we create a function where we just pass in the image, and then it will read the image with our image read function of cv2 and perform all of the tasks, and then just show us the output. So let's do that. So first of all, let's create a function in here. So let's say face detect function. In here we'll get the image directory. So image directory will not get the image, that is the readed image in the array format. We'll just get this people's JPEG. So image directory to refer to that as the argument. And then first of all we will change or read that image. So we will create the image, read that. So cv2 read, so image read, and then use the image there. Then let's change this to our grayscale as well in the same line. So select this, or let's just leave that because we will want that in the showing of the rectangle. So let's leave that. So let's use gimage, so grayscale image, cv2, then convert color, that will be the image, then convert color from BGR to grayscale. So BGR to gray. Then we have to create our cascade classifier. So face recog. So make sure that this face recog matches the data in your Jupyter notebook. Here we have this face recog data or XML data, you can see. So make sure that is correct. So in here face recog will be cv2 cascade classifier, and that is our face recog data XML. So face recog data.xml, then we will just detect that. So we already have the image, that is this g image. So let's detect that, that is coordinates. So coordinates, we will face recog detect multi-scale, and that will be our g image, then the default values or the arguments to pass to our detect multiscale. Then using a for loop, let's just print or display that on the image, that is this colored image. So for tuple with x, y, with height in coordinates onto image at this rectangle. So cv2 rectangle, first thing, that is our image. So image, then our x and y. So x and y, then x and y again, but add the width and height as well. So width and height, then default parameters 255, 0 and 0, and then 3. So now let's view our image. So tab for, or just return the image. So return the image. So we will view that if we want. So return the image that has the detected scales. So if here in here, let's say we want to also see that if there is no value or no detection, we'll pass nothing is detected. So in here, let's just insert this inside of a if statement. So if nothing in core, so you saw that core has some values. So in here, let's just a that, or let's core and run the cell. So let's say we pass this to boolean function. So bool, you can see that we cannot perform that. So you can see we have to use any or all. So let's say all of the values in the core is 0. So any or all. So we have core is an numpy array, so we can use dot all function on that. So it is true. We can also use any, but all is fine in here because we need something. So let's say we change this image in here. So let's say I have an image with nothing in it. So let's say I pass as tree png. So it's just a random file with no faces in there. So tree png, run this cell. Okay, I think cannot perform that. So let's choose another image, some file, test image. What is this? Okay, it has peoples as well. So let's change this to that test image. Test image, it is test image JPEG. Okay, run the cell. Okay, detection, you can see tuple object has no attribute at all. So now no detection is done. So if there is a exception like this, using this core.all, we will specify that do nothing. So in here, let's do this, that is try, and then we have if a or core.all, then perform this for loop. So let's indent that, and I think, yeah, indent that. So tab indented, and add a colon, and if any exception is raised, so except return none. So now our function is ready to test. So exception, let's define the exception as well. That will be attribute error. So let's copy that in here. If attribute error occurs, we'll specify none, or some else or something else occurs, we'll just define that as well. That is, let's say someone passes image directory wrong, so that will be specified there. So only attribute error occurs, we'll do this, that is none, that is no image or no face is detected in the image, or if detected, we'll just specify or pass in the image with the rectangle onto it. So let's just delete these cells and then run the cell, that is our face detect function. Let's call our function as well. So face detect, and now we'll pass the image directory, that will be peoples, which we use. So people JPEG, run the cell, you can see we got returned all of that. So okay, that's I think in the for loop. So let's, so for all, yeah, that's fine. Run the cell again, we get all of the outputs. So in here we can pass this to the image, and in here let's just name it detection, and yeah, onto our CV2 image show, and we need to import that as well. So import CV2 and CV2 wait key, and you can see that we have our image with the detection onto just one line of code. So now you can use this face detect function to just pass in an image. So let's say we have a detection with nothing, so in here we can see that as well. So face detect and face detect, so let's pass in that test image. So test image dot jpeg, run the cell, you can see nothing happens, so nothing is returned. So if we pass this to our image show function, so CV2 image show, let's just use X for now for the title of that, bar CV2 dot wait key, nothing, run the cell, you can see we get an error, that is no data or no image to show. So this is how we created this face detect function, that will just get an image and then it will show the image with the image or the detection. So in here, let's just change this to not get something error like this. So here we can just pass in the image with no rectangles. So just turn the image in here, run this cell again, run this cell again. So here we will get the image with no detection, but let's say we have some detection, like the peoples, we'll get the image with the detection. So now we have a face detect function where you can just pass in the image and use it again and again. So that's it for this section where we learned how to perform face recognition using artificial intelligence with Python.